You know me as the host of the Too Busy to Eat show, but I'm also founder and CEO of Too Busy to Eat, the protein bar company. I make what I feel is the healthiest and best tasting protein bar on the market. So now it developed from my own frustration of not being able to find a bar that tasted good and that was extremely healthy, that I could have maybe multiple times a day if I was really busy, or I could feed my kids and not feel guilty about what they ate. So I created this bar with grass-fed whey protein, no more than 3 grams of sugar, which is all naturally occurring, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, the list goes on. So don't take my word for it. I want you to try them. And I want to give you incentive to try them. So I'm going to give you 20% off your first order. You can get a sample bag of bars, or you can get a whole box, whatever you want. Go to my website, toobusytoeat.com. Not hard to remember. Show, the company. And enter the promo code TBTE show. TBTE show. Actually, it's a discount box when you check out, and you'll get 20% off your first order, no matter how small or large. So go to the website now, try them out, and then let me know what you think. Welcome to Too Busy to Eat. Today we have Elizabeth Resnick on the show. Man, her story, I'm not going to ruin anything in the intro, but her story is fantastic for people that have struggled with, a variety of health issues. Elizabeth's story is great, and she's turned that into educating others. Her story, her life changed. Now she's educating others through her blog, Happy, Healthy, and Hot. Very fascinating. She has books on the way. It's just a great interview. She's a terrific person. So without further delay, let's get to Elizabeth. Well, welcome, Elizabeth. I'm so excited to have you on my show. I'm so excited we got everything figured out. And now I'm excited that, I'm going to get to learn from you. And then all of our listeners are going to learn from you too. So welcome. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Greg. Thank you. Other than the fact it is freezing cold. I'm here in Pennsylvania, 20 degrees out. I was woken up by high gusty winds.
Oh, gosh.
The sun is actually peeking out now, which I can see on the computer screen.
Yeah, nice.
So got a little
That's
light
good.
Now, but which is kind of a little distracting, but yeah, great. Just trying to stay warm.
That is fantastic. That's fantastic that you get some sun. I know it's cold, but that will pass. That will pass soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, in the intro, I gave a background of a little bit about you, but why don't you give us the bigger story of what took you from where you were to where you are today?
Certainly. It's a long story, and I know your listeners are too busy to eat, so I'm going to try to keep it really quick.
Okay.
But it really goes back to me as a child. I've always been interested in health and nutrition. I grew up in a household where my mom was always into health food. This was back in the 60s and 70s, right away back. Around the age of 11 or 12, I became a vegetarian. I did this first because I loved animals, but also really thought about it as being the healthiest way to eat. And I'm not saying, and I think I learned a ton of great things being a vegetarian. So I was a vegetarian for over 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
I ranged from avo-lacto, having eggs and dairy,
right.
to adding in, at times I was adding in fish. Sometimes maybe not having the dairy at that time. And at one point I was pretty much vegan. So I've been all over the spectrum vegetarian. And I've always been what everybody considers to be healthy. I don't get sick. I don't really get sick. And my weight, I'm very fortunate. I've really never had a lot of trouble maintaining my weight. I'm active, not athletic, but active. So anyway, I had these concerns. My biggest one that plagued me my entire life was acne.
Okay.
And,
I
care about how I look, and no one wants to be broken out. And this really started, I'm not saying it was linked to being a vegetarian. It started right around that same time, early teens, which makes sense.
Right.
And I did everything, Greg. Yeah. I was every prescription drug that was available at the time, right on up to Accutane, practically as soon as it was approved by the FDA. I've actually been Accutane a total of 3 times.
Oh gosh.
Once in high school, once right after I got out of high school, and then again in my mid to late 30s. Yeah. And it has a lot of side effects. I'm not going to take the time to go into that now, but so in addition to the acne, which was always my primary focus, I've always had some digestive issues, which I just thought that was my thing.
Yeah.
And you just think, oh, well, that's just what I have to deal with. and just some bloating and discomfort.
Yeah.
And then also as I got older, started developing some anxiety.
Okay.
And, but I didn't think about the acne was what bothered me.
Right.
And so all this time I've always been reading. I've always had a clean, pretty healthy diet, never ate a lot of junk.
Yeah.
But after going on Accutane again in my late 30s, which really finally cleared my skin up, in my early 40s, it started coming back with a vengeance.
Oh gosh. Wow.
And at that point, I was like, I'm not going back on Accutane. Here I am. I'm dealing with like wrinkles and acne at the same time. And it's just, nobody wants to be there.
Right.
So I was pretty desperate. At the time, I started following a vegan diet. I was really inspired by Carol Alt, who was a raw vegan. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to clean things up so much.
Right.
So I was doing the green smoothies, which are great. I still drink green drinks and just sprouting nuts and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And my skin got progressively worse.
Wow.
Interestingly, my anxiety, I never figured this, never linked all this stuff till later. My anxiety started getting a lot worse. Really flaring up. It had never been such a problem for me. And I was so desperate, and I'm on all these different email lists, different health related. And Dr. Mercola had a little brief email. I didn't open, I never have time to open all this stuff. It was about acne. And I just happened to open it. And he said, cutting out grains, dairy, sugar will clear your skin. And I was like, what have I got to lose? Right. He also talked about the importance of more, enough protein and healthy fat. Yeah. So I thought, well, if I don't have any grains, I'd already pretty much cut out the dairy, and I've always struggled with dairy. That's always been an issue for me. Yeah. Grains, like, what am I even going to eat? Yeah. So I thought I had to add in some. So I started with some pastured eggs. Okay. I wish I could tell the exact timeline, but what I can tell you is this: with no grains and sugar. I wasn't eating candy, but I was eating tons of dried fruit. Right. All the time. Yeah. So the minute I cut out all that dried fruit, and really a lot of fruit in general, cut out the grains, I could, with literally almost overnight, I could feel the inflammation in my face going down. Oh my gosh, that's great. Crazy. So I started adding some pastured eggs because I've always been into very high quality food. Yeah. And gradually as I started researching, I realized that eating pastured meat it kind of eliminated the arguments that I had against meat as far as the treatment of animals and even the health factors. So I started with some broth and some ground beef I could kind of tolerate. Right. And I really, surprisingly, didn't have a big problem with it. People are like, oh my gosh, how can you eat after all these years? I tolerated it surprisingly well. And kept in all the good things of the vegan diet. Kept eating lots of raw, fresh veggies. Which you should, Which we all should be doing. That's great. Yeah. So it's kind of like I combine the best of both worlds. And the vegan and kind of a, paleo type. I don't like to give myself any label. Yeah. But definitely upped my fat intake. Right. And so my skin just cleared up. Just every day it was better. Within months it was perfectly clear, but in a few weeks it was dramatically better. Yeah. Somewhere along the line, Greg, I said, oh my gosh, that anxiety's gone. Oh my gosh. And my stomach never hurts. Oh. So it was just crazy. Oh, that is, and the thing is, I didn't talk about it a lot to people. Right. Part of my identity was being a vegetarian. I've been for so long. And I've always been interested in health, but I never really, if people asked me, I would tell them, but I never really shared information with people. Right. But finally, I just started thinking, I have to share this with the world. So I decided I wanted to start a blog because I was inspired by other bloggers. Because I found out if you can find somebody that you relate to, that has something maybe that you find you see something that you have in common with that person. It's a real person and you can relate to them. You can learn so much from their experiences, good and bad. Right. So I really wanted to start a blog, but I wanted to have some type of, I've studied nutrition my whole life, but I thought, I want to have some type of credentials. So I went to IIN for a year, and that was a wonderful program. It definitely is very eye-opening, and you really look at the whole mind-body connection. Yeah. They don't really follow one nutritional protocol. You're exposed to a whole lot. Right. Most of which I was already familiar with anyway, but it was just a great way to pull everything together for me. That's great. Yes. Yeah. And I'm actually working on my primal certification through Primal Blueprint also. Right. Which is great. Because that's really... really giving me a lot more of the science of why what I'm doing works.
Right.
So that's been really interesting also.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just started the blog, Happy, Healthy, and Hot. Didn't really publicize it at all. I was just kind of writing it for like whatever random stranger started reading it. And here it is. It's a little over a year later. It just started taking off, and
It's awesome.
It's just been a whole lot, and I love it because I'm just sharing what I'm learning with other people and keeping it real and finding out what people want, which is, what can I eat that's quick and easy and keep me on track, and trying to dispel some of the myths about that, and trying to keep everything really positive and fun and not so hard.
Right. Well, you're sharing, I mean, you are sharing your journey, but you're also educating yourself through, great organizations. And so you have a very, very high benefit to all your readers, which is fantastic, because you're absorbing all this and you've experienced it yourself, which is always connecting to people, which is fantastic. Well, how did you get where'd the name, when you Happy, Healthy, and Hot, how did that come about?
Well, it just kept popping in my head.
Yeah.
And it just seems so silly. But every time I just would say, because I want people, I think everyone deserves to feel happy, healthy, and hot.
Right.
It's not just a matter of, people diet to look good, but they feel you feel awful. This way, and you feel awful and you're miserable.
Right.
And I think this whole thing should be fun, and we should look good. We want to be fit and in shape and look great. Look great. I mean, why not?
Yes.
So it's just all about having fun. And I really think the happy part comes first, because if we make this fun and enjoy the little things in life, it's the healthy part comes easier, and then you look hot. So.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yes, when you take care of yourself, you eat right, you stay active. Yeah, that all
it all just falls into place. So
that's great.
I want everyone to just feel amazing.
Yes.
And just have energy. Again, it's not just about looking good, but about really feeling good and being excited and getting up and excited to face the day. And instead of saying, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that, I love the food I eat. I love sharing it. And say, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you have some. I was reading a lot about you, and you have some ambitions that are pretty exciting to me. Is you have some books. You're writing a blog. You're even considering putting together some books. And why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, well, because again, I started out just wanting to write a blog because I like to read blogs.
Yes.
So really, I guess you could say all of this was for me. I was like, what am I? And, then I started realizing, well, not everybody's, the more I did it, the more I wanted to spread my message.
Yes.
And there's something about a book that gets people, sometimes people need that book. Some people don't want to page through the blog and piece together the information. I try to keep my posts short and sweet.
Yep.
But sometimes somebody wants a guide. They want you to hand them something and say, here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So that's where a book comes in. And that's where a need for the book.
Right.
And I'm just trying to get this information out to people in a lot of different ways so that people can receive it the way they best want to receive it. If it's following me on Instagram and getting a quick recipe and a quick tidbit of information, great. I'm just moving my laptop a teeny bit, seeing if it gets rid of some of the glare from the light that's coming in.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that's better.
And if it's less distracting, it's all good background. I like it. It's good.
Okay. Great.
So that's fantastic. That your journey. You have such a good story. I mean, you really battled this, because I know. I mean, everybody has. You do want to look good and feel good, and have to battle the acne throughout your life, and to have that final answer. It's great. In a book, be able to connect with people through your story, and then all the information you have, the science that you're learning, and to share that. So, I mean, I would be really excited. That'd be a really exciting book to have. That's very exciting.
Yeah. So I've got it outlined. I'm sorry, there's so much of it that's already written kind of on the blog and just needs to be pulled together.
Yes.
So, but just so that it's a little more user-friendly for somebody, because I started realizing, oh my gosh, I've written close to 200 blog posts. Like there's a book right there. But now it's a matter of pulling it together so somebody can say, oh, I just bought the Happy, Healthy, and Hot Guide to Life. Yeah. And I have this plan now. This is step by step what I'm going to do.
That's great. That's great. And what is your what is your routine, like your health routine? Because you gave us a little bit about your nutrition, but give that bigger picture of what you go through in a day. What you eat, how you stay active.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's all a work in progress. Things are always changing. But my whole another, I guess, big thing about my approach is because we want to look good. I talk a lot. I've really ventured into really looking for the best natural skincare products, cosmetics, and all of that. So I give a lot of ideas about anything from the most basic, like just use literally, I wash my face with coconut oil at night. That's what I do. It's awesome. So easy and it works.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of also higher end, wonderful skincare companies that are using amazing ingredients that I test and recommend and say, hey, I'm trying this and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I love doing that. So my day starts, I get up super early just because I'm a natural early riser.
Right.
I do what I call a mini workout. And when I say mini workout, Greg, I mean, a couple minutes, I have a Bosu ball.
Yeah.
Crunches, some planks, some push-ups.
Yeah.
I just kind of, if I'm feeling ambitious, I'll do some squats on the Bosu ball.
Yes.
If my balance is exceptional when I wake up, if it's not, I'm not going to get up on the Bosu ball to do the squats.
Right.
Literally a few minutes just to get my body moving and wake myself up. And while I'm doing that, many times I'm doing something crazy like oil pulling, which is when you have the coconut oil in your mouth and you're. I do all this stuff, and it's not like everybody has to do everything I'm doing. Right. That's just kind of keeps my teeth white, and that's great. And I have a little quiet. I also believe it's really important to start your day with a little quiet, kind of meditative, spiritual time. So I do that as well. Right. And then right now I'm not. I take my dog out for a long walk. So right now, my main thing has been, I've just been really into walking. Right. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So there's times where I'm into going to a gym. There's times I'm really into using the kettlebell. Right. I went into a thing where I was really into indoor rock climbing, and that's all awesome. But again, it's kind of a matter of finding what's working for you. Yes. Right now I've been doing a ton of brisk walking and feeling amazing. That's great. Yeah. And I'm out there getting fresh air, and a day like today, it's not too much fun, but most days I love it. Oh, that's right. And it can be cold. I have listened to your show while I'm out walking. So, perfect. Yes. Yeah. So I use that a lot of times, and I encourage other people to do this. Use that walking time to, that's the best kind of multitasking. Like listen to a podcast. Oh, yeah. You're learning and being entertained while you're exercising. Yeah, and you're educating yourself on whatever topic you want. I mean, whether it's a podcast, audiobook. I mean, you just can. You get great time for education. Yeah, definitely. So, and then the other thing I should mention first, before I go out and walk, I always do a blended coffee, whether you call it bulletproof or whatever. Right. But I do the coconut oil and the coffee. I blended some collagen peptides. Oh yeah. And whatever other weird thing I feel like throwing in. It might be raw cacao, it might be some maca, it might be some turmeric. So just mix it up, never all of these things at one time. But I love just experimenting with these, just whatever you can add in to make it even a little better. Yeah. And that really keeps me going for a while. I also make a big green drink in the morning, and I don't do it all at once. Right. They're usually not sweet. It's like some greens, ginger, lemon, blend it all up with some water. Yeah. And I have some of that first thing in the morning. And I'll just put the rest in the fridge and just drink it throughout the day. Yeah. And I didn't start out with having them that crazy. They started out with some fruit, but gradually they've just become more and more just green. Yes. Yeah. And it's just a way for a busy person to, for those days where you're not cooking much, to get enough produce in you. So that's why I do it. Yeah, that's now. Do you do it the same, or is it different mixes of greens every day? Different mixes. What I do, Greg, is hey, we're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. I'll go buy like the pre-washed, might be baby kale, baby arugula, whatever, pre-washed. I'll go through one bag, and then the next time I go to the store, I'll buy a different one, and that way you keep it in rotation. Sure. Yeah. Different minerals and vitamins from each one. Yeah. No, that's great. Sometimes the mixes that have, 3 or 4 different greens in them. So I did watercress the other day, and that was I love watercress, but that was a bit much. It was really, all ground. Yeah, it was, that really woke me up. Yeah.
that would be a little tough. Now, and then throughout so you have that green drink. I know a little bit about what you eat, but what's your normal rhythm for breakfast, after that? Lunch?
So typically what I'll do, and it kind of depends on what's going on with my day. If I'm heading out the door really early and I have a lot going on, I'm just going to throw something in my bag, maybe an apple and some type of protein and fat, whether it's nuts or a bar, and I cannot wait to try yours.
Oh, thank you.
Something that I have, something that's going to hold me, but it's quick. Okay. If I'm going to be home in the morning, a couple hours after doing the coffee and green drink, because that really, having that fat keeps me going. I'm focused, I'm moving, I don't need anything. A lot of times I'll do scramble some eggs.
Sure. Yeah.
Typically some grass-fed butter. And I might throw in whatever leftover vegetables I have. That's another trick I have to save time, is I'll roast a whole bunch of vegetables. I bought this giant roasting pan. I'll roast a whole bunch of maybe Brussels sprouts one day, and a couple days later, something else. And then you can have those with your dinner. You can throw the leftovers next in the morning.
Right.
It's just another way to get more nutrients in and not spend a lot of time.
Right. And it's about maximizing health in a realistic lifestyle, which that's what you're helping people do. I mean, through your blog, sharing the things that you do, things that you're learning, people can learn from you and grow and get healthy. And hopefully, I mean, it'd be great if, I know for you pouring all this time, 200 blog posts, you've done a lot of writing.
I have, but it's because it's so much fun. I just love it.
Awesome. Yeah. But there's other stories like yours because of your blog now, which is pretty exciting. Yeah.
Well, and it makes me so happy when people send me messages and tell me what they ate or what they did or what they're trying. They'll send me pictures. Like, look at my green drink. Yeah. And I just think that's like so awesome. Yeah. So really, most of my meals, Greg, and I'm not perfect, and I like chocolate and everything else, but most of my meals kind of just follow that pattern of like a high quality protein, good fat, and some vegetables. I don't do a lot of carbs. I have no idea what my macros are, but I definitely emphasize the healthy fat, and that just keeps me focused. And every now, I do some sweet potatoes from time to time. Even like an organic russet potato, if that's what I'm in the mood for. But a lot of days I find, if I look at what I ate, it really was the protein, the fat, and mostly green vegetables. Right. So basically non-starchy veggies. And a lot of veggies, because I really like them. Sure.
What you said, like your background of having the vegan, vegetarian background, and then adding those clean protein sources, and then healthy fat, it's just the perfect, it's the way we should eat. It's just
that's the way I feel. But the thing is, it's so good. I really I love what I eat. There's so many, especially when you can get the really nice, when you're doing the grass-fed beef. And today I actually, just because I wanted to try this, I made bison burgers.
Oh, yes.
Where you add some kelp powder too. So I ordered kelp powder. I mixed it in with my bison, and it was really good. Really, really good. Yeah. So there's all this good stuff out there now, and it really is. It's exciting and it's fun, and I just throw things together. Right. If things too complicated, I'm not going to do it. Right.
It's got to be. Your goal is really healthy, but not too complicated, nice and easy to get.
Right, and it has to taste good.
Yeah. Where are you in the process of the primal health coaching? That's exciting to me because I've considered that when I was doing all my nutrition counseling. Where's that process?
And not as far along as I'd like it to be, simply because of time constraints.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I want to do it right. It's not a matter of plowing through it. It's a matter of, with each module, there's 16, and I just started the 4th. So I'm and I'm really taking my time with it. Because with each module, I want to really absorb the information.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the way they have it presented, it's definitely different than IIN, which was a lot of video and lectures. Right. This is a lot more reading, but there's also a lot of audio. Right. So you can do both. And depending on how you learn, you can, and that's the way it's designed, which I love.
That's great.
I like, because I can do the reading, just pull the stuff off my laptop and do it whenever, but then you can always listen to the audio even while you're doing something out, like walking or something, and listen to it and just have that information reinforced.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm jealous because I think that's something that I've considered in the past. I know it's a great resource. And when you're done with that, just the increased knowledge you'll have, and it help people even more. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking. And I like hearing, not that everybody needs to know the science behind it. Some people say, just tell me what to do. Right. But I find it so interesting to understand why this works.
Yes. Right. Absolutely. You get I've always liked that about Mark's Daily Apple, Mark Sisson he was the first person I came across that has all these, kind of cutting edge health things that we think of, kind of against the stream of normal thinking sometimes, but he backs everything up with so much science. Like every single blog is like a research paper. It's amazing.
I know. It's unbelievable. It's been such a great source. I mean, so many times if I am looking for a piece of information, that's the first place to look, because there's just, everything is backed up with research. Right. And he's been writing it for so long. He's covered every possible topic. Just when they cover anything else, they come up with something new.
Yes.
So that's always been one. I mean, that's one that's been I just followed for years and has been so
fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged with what you have. So I want to encourage people to, get in contact with Elizabeth. You can email her. We'll have the email in the show notes, but it's Elizabeth at ELIZES.com.
Actually, ELIZRES.
Oh boy, I almost sent them to the wrong spot. Liz Rez.
That's okay. Short for Elizabeth Resnick.
Perfect. So I'll do that again. ELIZRES.com. And that's the same, that web address is the blog, Happy, Healthy, and Hot. And an Instagram at Resnick Elizabeth. So I know your Instagram, we talked earlier, Instagram is big for you. So I think it's a great platform to share great information. So I encourage everybody to, especially if you resonated with Elizabeth's story, to go seek her out and email her, go to her blog, follow her on Instagram and interact with her, because I know she does like to interact. So Elizabeth, I can't thank you enough for the time you've taken. And I love your story. I love your passion. Can't wait for your book, because
great. Well, I'll send you a copy.
Okay.
And I have loved, it's just been really fun talking to you. As I was listening to some of your shows and learning more about you, other than the basketball thing, because I'm 5'1.5", we have a lot in common with our own health journeys and just trying a lot of different things.
Right. Yes, definitely.
So that's one of the reasons I was really anxious to talk to you. So I appreciate this.
And it was fantastic. Thanks so much, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Great talking to you.